Hi everybody, this is Santini from Sunny Creates Junk Journals. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today we are going to be doing the installment of Y in our A to Z times 2 challenge, and you can see we're almost at the end. We've just got zips. In fact, I was preparing for zips and then I realized, oh my gosh, it's not zips, it's yarns. Okay, so we're going to be doing some stuff with yarn today. Now I've got a list of 10 things that I am going to talk about where we can use yarn in our junk journals, but it does not mean to say that I'm going to show you all 10 things, because then the video is going to be way too long. So on some of them I'm going to explain it to you, and then on some of them I am going to show you what I mean. Just having some coffee. So the first thing we can use is for closures. So we can bind an entire junk journal with yarn and ribbon, and that will work as well. So if you're going to be binding closing up a junk journal as a closure, if you're using the yarn, then I will suggest that you use yarn and ribbon together, not just yarn on its own, because you don't want to just knot yarn on its own, because then you're going to probably have a problem. Okay, so yarn and ribbon to do a junk journal closure. Then I have a closure inside here, so closure with your items within the junk journal itself. This here is yarn that I used, and all I did is I used eyelets where I threaded the yarn through. The third thing is tassels. Now this was done with embroidery thread, but in my new journal I do not have this color, the color I need for the for making tassels, but I do have this color or this yarn, which is crochet yarn, that I'm going to be using in order to make tassels for my junk journal, because this is the colors in my junk journal, my next one. Okay, and then I will be using this yarn, and I have already posted a video how I make my tassels, so I will be using the same method to be able to make my tassels. Then the next one is using your yarn to make flowers, to crochet flowers or something like that. So now I have a string of flowers that I crocheted over here, and the only difference is I use the lilac crochet yarn instead of the blue. So in my junk journal you're going to be seeing some crochet flowers, you're going to be seeing single flowers, and you're going to be seeing probably something where it's a string of flowers that I crocheted. Okay, then the next thing is yarn for your tags. So let's see, yarn for my tags. So here's a tag that I had made a long time ago, and I'm going to be using this yarn here, and I am going to be using this as a decorative piece for my tag. So I just cut it in half. That's too bright. And what I will do is that I will push it through the eyelet when I can. And for this type of, if you're going to be using yarn for your for your junk journal like this, for your tags, then I suggest you use a little bit of a fluffy yarn, just not like a straight. I wouldn't use this yarn, for example. Yeah, so it must look pretty, like something like that, and then you can just cut it off wherever you want to, and then you've got yarn for your tags. And this too, you can add ribbon with it, so it can be ribbon and yarn. Okay, and then you can just be able to do something like that. So I would definitely cut this down to about here, and I may or may not add some ribbon to it at a later stage. Okay, so that's also that. Then the next thing you can use yarn for is you can use it, your eyelash trim. So if I look at this journal here, there's many occasions where I used eyelash trim, and eyelash trim is a yarn. So let's look. It should be there you go. There's some eyelash trim behind this B label there. There's some eyelash trim that I used over here as well behind this flower, and it just gives it such a nice effect that there's some eyelash trim that I used here as well. So I love eyelash trim, and I use it quite often in my junk journals. Okay, the next one is yarn for your boho beads. So where did I put my boho beads? Now this may not look like I have yarn over here, but I do. But that yarn is then wrapped, so it's material yarn, and then I used a gold thread, and then I used the beads. Okay, and I wrapped the yarn and held it together with this gold thread here so that it all stays together. Okay, so yarn on your boho beads. And then yarn for your journal covers. Now there's many ways of using yarn for your journal covers, but I just wanted to show you this here. Now this is something that I made. Gosh, what is this called again? Like it's weaving. It is weaving, okay? So, but I think it's weaving. It's just got different steps in it. I'm not steps. What would you call stitch? You know, like how you get different stitches. This is different ways of weaving yarn. So all this, every single bit of this is yarn. They all are white yarn, but they're different types of yarn. So imagine this now as a journal cover, ladies and gents. How gorgeous would this be as a journal cover? And I actually took a frame and I made my own little weaving block in order to be able to do this. And when I made it, I thought, oh dear, I was going to put it as one part of a pillow, and I was like, oh no, this is a little too small. But never did I realize that it would probably be quite perfect for your junk journals. Okay, in fact, you can weave up until where you want to. And it's too bad I didn't think about bringing that out to show you that little weaving thing that I put together. It's not hard at all. I didn't think it was difficult, so I managed to make something like that. Then if you've got those looms, you can also do the loom knitting and make a journal cover. So think about that with your yarn. The other one is paper clips, and I'm going to show you how to do that one now. And let me put this on, hopefully over here on the side, using a paper clip. Let's get a paper clip out. We are going to be not using that one now. We are going to be using this. And here there's eyelash trim that I'm going to be using for a paper clip. And okay, when I'm ready to glue, I will take something out. So just take it in your finger, and this was inspired by Recycle Parts for Arts. Yeah, Recycle Parts for Arts. It's a YouTube video, but I left out quite a few of the steps to make it easier to do. So, but it was inspired by a video I watched. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7, 8. Okay, so 8, and then we can cut it out down like that, and then put it down, and then just take your thread, example like that, and I kept it on the needle because the thread was already there on the needle, and I thought, oh, actually it makes it easier. And just wrap it around and try and use the same color thread that you are of your yarn, and that's just to make it so that it becomes part of the yarn and it's not visible, so much so that I can't even see where my knot is, where my thread is. Let's try that. There's the thread here. Okay, so try that. Oh my word, can barely see the thread here. Okay, which is good news actually. And then maybe just a few knots, so wind it up a few times around it in the middle, and then just a few knots so that thread is not going anywhere, and maybe one more knot like that, and then you can cut the thread off. Just let me put this onto my needle thingy here on the side. And then what you're going to do is you are going to, let's just take this piece here of paper, and you know, you get the when you wind it up or you fold it around your fingers, you're going to get the loops. So try and cut the loops out. Okay, so cut the loops. You don't have to, but I like cutting it as well. And just cut them out like that. Okay, and I think we might have gotten all. And then do the same on this side. Just find your loops. So this is a bit messy, I must admit. Just trying to find it because this it's the type of yarn we're using, so you can't really see where your loops are. Okay, so I think that would be it. And then it's like a flower. And what I would do is that I would go around and neaten it up so that it looks more like a flower and not like a hedgehog or whatever. Now in the video I watched, it was Mod Podged and left to dry, and I did that, but maybe I did it wrong because I didn't quite like the effect of it. So there it is, like that. Okay, and then what you're going to do is clean your table out, and then I have a glue gun going over here in the background, and I'm going to take a button, and I am going to take in the side, I'm just picking up a piece of, no, wrong box. A piece of blue here, if I can get a blue. Like a blue like that. Or a lighter blue if I can, but I don't think I can get a lighter blue. Let's see quickly. Yeah, I got it. If I can get it out, which I forgot about getting it out. Let's work with this little blue here, because that's more the blue that we're going to be using. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the paper clip, we're going to stick it on here like that. Okay, remember your two, that's where it's going to go into in here like that. So you're going to stick it on here like that. Okay, so what are you going to do is fluff it out nicely like that. And then I just want to put it on here. Add some glue onto the flower. So I'm using hot glue, and you know I don't like hot glue. Don't know why. Add your paper clip there, and then take more hot glue. Now I didn't allow mine to dry, to get hot enough, and then just put that down there like that. Burn your fingers in the process, like that. Lucky this is not a high temperature glue. And then I'm just gonna cut. Okay, I'll wait for that glue to dry. Wait for that glue to dry there, and then now you can, you know, make it look cool. Get all your strings in that you don't want sticking out here, and then just add a tiny more bit of glue to it in here. And now, sorry if I'm shaking, take your button and add it to the front, down like that, and you got a pretty little paper clip. And then if you want, it's not a requirement, but if you want, you can neaten it up. Okay, you can neaten that up, and look at how cute that's going to look in your journal, to hold something in place. And you can trim around it if you want to as well. So here's using yarn there. Then the next one is where you use yarn on pins. So I'm going to take crochet yarn and I'm going to do that. And this idea is inspired by Oak House Journals. I saw on Instagram, I think there was a picture of this, and I took it and I kept it. Well, I saved it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some thread, about that much, which is about, let's see, now I lost that, so I'll take maybe about 10 centimeters, way too much. Let's make it 6 centimeters, right? But we're going to cut quite a few of the 6 centimeters. But let's see if 6 centimeters is going to work before I do that. Now, yeah, well, 6 centimeters is going to be difficult to work with. So let's not make it 6. Let's make it 10. Okay, so let's say 10 centimeters. Because I think it might be easier to work with 10 centimeters than 6. So you're going to take it like this. You're going to put it over like that. So over the bottom part. And depending which way you want it to go, I don't think it makes too much of a difference. I'm going to do that. Push the loop through. And then put your finger through the loop, or your 2 fingers through the loop, and pull the thread out like that. Right, and then let's do another one. See, that is the reason I said 10 centimeters is a bit too much, but it is easier to work with. So if you have nimble fingers, then 10 centimeters is not going to, I mean, you can probably work with a little bit more than 10 centimeters, I mean 6 centimeters. And then just do that as well through the bottom, and like that. And I'm going to show it to you one more, 2 more of it, and then I'm going to put the video on pause and come back to you once it's done. So you're going to take it in half like that. Take your loop, put it through the bottom like that. Okay, and pull it through. Pull your 2 pieces through. Ugh, something. What happened there? Like that, fold it in half. There's your stuff. Put it through and pull it through. Okay, so yes, I don't have nimble fingers, and it makes it so difficult. There we go, like that. So depending on which way you want it, so let's say we keep our head of the pin in that direction, and then another 10, and then we'll cut it out. Keep your pin in your head in one direction. Know that this one is going to go underneath. Okay, the loop is going to go underneath the iron part, and it's going to come over, and you're going to pull the 2 pieces of thread. Okay, underneath, and pull the 2 pieces of thread. Okay, like that. And maybe I'll stand up and show you another one. So it's going to look like that. Let me show you once more so that you get it. Oh, I think I know you get it. Okay, so what are we going to do? Your 10 centimeters. Fold it in half. Make sure your head is pointing in one direction, that way or that way. Now I'm a lefty, so this works for me. Put this underneath this loop, put it underneath the iron part, and then pull it through to the front, and then pull the 2 pieces of thread through, and there's a thread, and do that. And then you're going to do this right up until the end. Okay, so I'm going to pause and I'm going to get back. Okay, so I am back, and I've got this now here that looks something like this. Now what we need to understand is that we need to I've got this that looks like this. Now what we need to understand is we need to open that pin in order to pin it into something. So what I would definitely do is that I would hold all these down straight, and then I would run some glue that dries. Okay, some glue, like this fabric glue that dries clear. On this here, on both sides, so it holds that stitches in place, not the stitches, holding it in place there. And then so now they all like attached to each other, so you can use your fabric tack or whatever, right? And then I would also add very little to the tip here. So this is working quite well actually. So they're not really moving, so maybe just a little bit more, then maybe you don't need to add anything there. Something like that, and then you can wipe all the excess glue out just now once it has dried. Okay, so let's just say it like that. You can even paint it on with your paintbrush like that. Okay, so then when that dries clear, then what you can do is you can put it down like that and clean it up, and then say, okay, those are not going to move now, and maybe I want it that long. And then what you can do is that you can take your scissors and you can cut it down. Now you don't have to do this if you can cut straight, but everybody knows I can't, so this is helping me to cut straight. Okay, so let's see if we take a marker. Don't know. And let's see if we can cut it like that as well. So yeah, hey, that works too. Look at that. Clean this out later. Take out all the nonsense after it has dried, and look how pretty that is. And then what you can do with it is you can then put it onto your tags. You can put it onto anything you want. So I'm going to open it up here. All right, and I am going to put it onto my tag. Let's say like, try and find a piece on my tag that I can add it onto. Like that. So it doesn't really move around a lot. Now I'm not sure, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know whether I told you this. Look at how cute that looks. So I don't know whether I told you this, but if you look at this, and I think I didn't tell you, is that put it on the bottom here where this part doesn't open up. So this keeps it in place, but also that is going to keep it in place, and this is going to keep it in place on that side, and then you're just going to pin it through. Okay, so I'm sorry if I didn't tell you that, but see, mine opened up on that side, so I'm not going to put my tassels on that side. I am going to put it on the side that doesn't open up, right? So for me it was easy because I am a lefty, but for you, whichever side your pin opens, and I'm sure it'll open the same side. If you turn it this side, then it's going to be still at the bottom, right? So look for where it is opening, mark that if you want to, maybe put some sellotape or whatever on it, so you understand that that is not the part you're going to be putting your tassels on. And now it's nice, it's not moving, it's not going to move anyway. And do that, so that becomes your stopper. Both those things become your stopper, and you can put it on your tag like that, and voila. I think this is so pretty. I think I like this. Yeah, might even leave it there, and if you really want to, you can put some beads on the top over there and just try to glue them. Look at that. There we go. Okay, so let's see the 10 things that we used. Let's go over it again. All the 10 things that we can use for yarn in your journals. We can use it for closures, right? Inside, and then on the oh man, there was another thing and now I'm remembering it. can use it as closures, and then we can use it inside and we can use it outside. And if we're using it to close the journal, remember, let's add some ribbon or something like that to it, because we're going to be making a knot, right? We can use it to crochet, like our flowers, what we did over here, to crochet flowers or embellishments. Doesn't have to only be flowers, it can be hearts, it can be butterflies, it can be anything. Okay, we can use it for our tags. We can use it for our tassels. I mean, there's a tassel that we made there as well. Okay, we can use eyelash trim to pretty up our embellishments. We can use it on our boho beads. We can use it in our journal covers, something like that. We can use it to make paper clips, like that. You can neaten that up as well. And we can use it to decorate our pins and then pin it onto something. And the last one is, we can use it as part of our tassels when, you know, we make the spine and we put those spine embellishments where we put a tassel and we use ribbons and we use beads and we use things like that. We can also use yarn on our tassels. So that's about 10 things that we can use the yarn for. And I hope that if you have yarn and you don't want to knit with it anymore, or you don't want to crochet with it anymore, that you can find some use to use it in your junk journals. Because I have a lot of yarn. I do crocheting, but I mean, I will make things like this or whatever, and I enjoy using it to do things like this. So I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, please consider giving this video a thumbs up. And if you want to see more content like this, then please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel if you haven't already, and please hit the notification bell so that you can be made aware of every time I post a video on YouTube. And I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you for spending your time with me today. Thank you for allowing me to share today, and have a blessed rest of the week. It is Sunday afternoon here in South Africa, and this video will go up today. And remember that from Tuesday onwards, we are fully engaged in our new journal that we are doing, which is the neutral and blue journal, with a minimum amount of digitals. So if you want to know how to prepare for those journals, there's a few videos showing you how I copy dye my papers, how I made some tags already for it, and also just a video out there to show you what I actually put away, or bring out rather, from my stash in order to be able to start working with that journal. Take care, everybody. Have a lovely day. Lots of love. Stay blessed and have a blessed week from Santhony at Sunny Creates. I'll see you soon. Bye.